Hello everybody, welcome to the PinkUn.com Norwich City podcast. It's a very special edition. The international break is over. Norwich City host West Brom at Carrow Road on Saturday. We were all eagerly anticipating a return to club football, and I was delighted to bring you something a little bit different this week. The international break often allows us to catch up with people and do things maybe that we haven't been able to do previously through time constraints and various other boring things, which I won't go into. You obviously heard our chat with Mark Tierney. We had Asa Hartford and Mark Barham for the Milk Cup memory lane, and now our journey, I guess, through Norwich City history brings us up to the present day, and I was delighted to chat with Norwich City defender and Northern Ireland international Ruairi McConville earlier this week. We spoke about life on international duty. We spoke about how his spell at Norwich is going so far, the risk of leaving Brighton, and obviously his hopes for the future as well. Here is that full chat, and obviously I think after what was a pretty positive display against Bristol City before the break, we're all hoping to see a little bit more from him. I started by asking him how his international break had gone. So, a good place to start is probably with this international break. I mean, what's it been like for you? I know obviously it was a difficult result last night, but I'm sure the experience, the second start for your country, all of that stuff must have been really positive from sort of an individual perspective.
Yeah, definitely. It was great to finally get playing and get a proper 90 minutes under my belt. It was been a long time coming, so that'll help me in the long run. Hopefully, the next few months to the end of the season. But yeah, we had a positive 10 days. Just unfortunate last night is a tough night for us, but a real learning curve.
Yeah, and I can imagine up against a striker like Isaac, that's about as tough a task as anyone can get at any time. But like you say, particularly when you haven't been, playing regularly and it's a good 90 minutes for you, that is some test, isn't it, to come up against him?
Yeah, of course. Like, he's probably the best striker in the world at the minute. So to get to play against him is unbelievable. Just to even watch him and just to see how he plays, you learn so much from players like that. But it was a great test for me, and one I'm happy I got to do, and hopefully I can build on it from now.
Obviously, as we said, the second start for the senior team, the first coming in November. I can imagine probably since that first cap, your life has been very hectic, and it's obviously changed. You had a change of club. You made your senior debut for Brighton. You've made an appearance in the Championship. There's a lot that you've ticked off in the last few months.
Yeah, as you said, it's completely changed since that day. It's just like my whole world's turned upside down. It's crazy, but it's down to a lot of hard work. Thankfully, I've got here, and it's trying to stay here now with more hard work, and hopefully getting more minutes under my belt the more the weeks go on.
I can imagine it's been really hectic as a period for you in your life. Have you had time to sort of sit back and reflect? Are you that sort of person, or have you just tried to sort of take it all in your stride and try and keep pace with everything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to sort of take a step back when everything just sort of happens so quick. I'd be one to reflect. Like, I speak with my family quite often, and about every day as it goes. So I'll look back on things, but now you just try and live in the moment really, and enjoy every day as it comes, because I'm very fortunate to be where I am. So I just try not to take anything for granted, and just enjoy every single day that I get to do this as a job.
And obviously, in terms of Northern Ireland, clearly you're still a very young man. You want to go on and play loads more times for them, but to do it at such a young age, that must be really special for you. I mean, is it something that, when particularly given the first start, the second start as well, is it happened a little bit sooner than you expected, or I guess has it been a nice sort of pleasant surprise, or did you kind of expect to be here where you are at the moment?
Well, yeah, you never know when it's going to happen. Like, especially the start of the season I had, getting injured really. The first day of pre-season, getting injured and being out for 4 months, it was like never would I have imagined I'd be sitting here. I've achieved everything that I've achieved, so it's a great feeling. And obviously, thankfully, at the international stage, we've got such a young group. We've got a manager who wants to invest in young players. So, and I guess even with here now at Norwich, it's a similar sort of feeling, and that's only good for us. It shows that the trust is there in the manager and us, and if we work hard enough and do the right things, then we'll get these opportunities.
Yeah, I was going to mention your injury. I mean, it's a really interesting sort of how the first half of the season and the second half of the season have gone for you. Really contrasting, I guess. So, I mean, what was the first 4 months like for you? I can imagine, as you say, first day of pre-season. I'm sure there was a lot of excitement, a lot of ambitions that you had, and then to be ruled out for such a long period of time must have been so incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, to be honest, it was really tough. I was due to go away with the Northern Ireland under-19s. We were hosting the under-19 Euro finals, so that was like all my mind was on that. I didn't think of it. Wasn't even thinking of anything else, and to miss that was a big blow. But it shows that sort of everything happens for a reason. Like that, I'm here where I am now, and I put it down to the hard work, and I give myself a bit of credit on that front where I worked hard and didn't let the injury get the better of me, and thankfully I've got back, and touch wood, had no problems with it since. So always just looking onwards and upwards.
Is that the longest spell that you've had out so far in your career?
I think like I've had a few. Like I always my injuries are always quite weird. Like I fractured my eye socket and cheekbone, and I was out for a similar sort of spell. But yeah, 4 months is probably the longest I've been out, and it was tough. And you get stages where you're so eager to get out, and you want to rush everything, but it's just so important to take it easy and take it day by day. And thankfully, I had a good team around me to get me back fit and playing.
Do you think that period has helped you with in terms of determination, in terms of maybe some of those intangible qualities that we sort of look for in footballers? Is that spell and how difficult it was, and the fact you've shown sort of determination and I guess faced adversity, has that helped you, do you think, with the sort of, what is it, 4 or 5 months or so since that point?
Yeah, I think so. Like obviously injuries are part of the game, but they can be so tough, and it can be a struggle mentally sometimes, just when you see everyone else just going about their days normally around you. It's hard to not have that fear of missing out and not want to get playing. But yeah, this is, as I say, it's part of the game, and it's important just to stay sort of grounded and try and just go day by day, step by step, and take your time with it, because thankfully I am young. I've got hopefully a lot of years ahead of me, and it's just that was probably my main was keeping me going, where I'm just it's only one sort of blip in the road, and there's still so much more ahead of me, hopefully.
Absolutely. I mean, let's talk about Norwich then. I mean, sort of two and a bit months in of your spell here. How have you found it so far? Has it been everything that you hoped and sort of expected?
Yeah, I've loved every single minute of it. I say that every time someone asks me, and it's the truth. It's been everything I imagined and more. Like everyone's made me feel so welcome. I've fitted right in, and I just hope that it just keeps getting better and better, and that's what you want. And I guess getting game time and getting on the pitch is gonna help with that, and that's what I'm striving for, and that I need to work and train and work hard to achieve that.
Yeah, and what are those sort of elements that have made it so positive so far? And is there sort of particular people, or is it just being sort of exposed to a first team environment regularly? What sort of the elements that have made it sort of everything that you hoped for?
Yeah, I think the people definitely in general. Like every single person I've met has been so nice to me. It's players, staff, and even the fans. They've all made me fit right in and make me feel right a part of the community, and that's what you want as a player. You don't want to really segregate yourself from those people, and thankfully I've fitted right in, and I hope to keep building that relationship even more. And I guess again that'll hopefully be when I start playing and start getting minutes under my belt.
When did you first learn that Norwich was a potential option? Because clearly there was the Carrow Road game, and you made your debut for Brighton that afternoon. Were you aware at that point that there was a possibility that you might end up at Norwich?
I don't know. I heard about the interest, but there was obviously a lot of stuff going on, and at that time my full focus was just on Brighton, and I guess it sort of just happened so quickly that the interest sort of accelerated, and like talks went really well, and I got a real good feel about it, and felt it was the right move for me at the time, and so far I still agree with that, and hopefully it continues to be what I think it will be.
Yeah, I mean, Johannes, I'm sure you might have seen, you might not have seen, but he's been asked about sort of you and that first meeting, and he sort of said pretty openly, he came away and turned to Ben Napper and said, "We've got to sign this guy." So I guess that's a testament to you and your character. But I'm guessing from your perspective, it was exactly the same in terms of what you were hearing. It certainly sounds like that from sort of what you've been saying so far.
Yeah, it was straight away. It was a similar sort of conversation I had with my mum, dad, and brothers. It was like we were blown away as well from everything that he said to us and everything that goes on in the training ground. It filled me with a real excitement, and again it was sort of a no-brainer for me from that point onwards, and that's probably when things really took a step forward and sort of sped on a bit, and we got things sorted after that.
I mean, did you work with like Nick Stanley at Brighton? Would he have been someone that you'd have known and sort of would have spoken to about this, or was he sort of more first team when you were there?
Yeah, well, when I was there, I guess this year was probably the only real time I was permanently with the first team. So not much. I had a few meetings with him, as in just from going up and training with the first team the all day, but nothing really that made me make the move or anything.
And in terms of obviously leaving Brighton, because I'm sure there will have been some at the Brighton end who were a little bit surprised to see you go. You're in a good position. You're highly rated there. Just from your perspective, again, maybe you've explained this elsewhere, but what was the reason behind sort of making that jump? Because I'm sure some people would have seen it as a real risk to sort of leave Brighton at that stage. Yeah, and obviously all that would have went through my head as well. But I just felt that this was the right thing for me. And again, after speaking to Johannes and everyone and Ben and it just felt right for me, and it was something that it did really excite me, and I felt it was a great opportunity that I didn't want to turn down, and that I thought I may regret in the future, and yes, obviously Brighton is such an amazing club, and can't thank them enough for what they've done for me, and I just felt that this was right, and hopefully that if I can get in and get playing, then it'll only be best for me. How useful has this period been? Because obviously, as you said, the plan is obviously to increase your game time as you go and sort of heading towards the summer and in the summer and whatnot. But this sort of bedding in period and being able to train and being exposed to that, has that been quite useful for you sort of in your early couple of months? Yeah, definitely. It's getting to learn off such an experienced centre back in Shane and even Callum's nearly is over 100 championship appearances, and then obviously Jose as well. I try and learn bits off every single one of them, and they've all been great with me. If they notice things that I do in training, they don't hesitate to speak with me and put me aside and tell me certain things that I can improve on, and I would do the same for them. That's what we are as a group, and that's what you want. We're all in it for each other. And we're a good proper team, and hopefully that will help us in the future. Yeah, and I guess sort of having that sort of defensive unit is really important, isn't it? And having, as you say, those experienced heads who've played a lot of championship games, obviously in Shane's case, Premier League games. They're all internationals and youth internationals as well, as are you. So I guess all of that experience is something to really tap into, isn't it? Of course, yeah. You'd be silly not to use all that to your advantage and gain that experience for yourself. Obviously, you need get me playing will get me experience, but learning anything I can off them is only going to benefit me more when I do get that opportunity. And I'm sure Shane in particular, I mean, you'd have known him from Brighton. I know necessarily you wouldn't have played with him or necessarily trained with him, but you'd have known him from that club. And I mean, how good has he been for you in terms of leading you and helping you? And it's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Because as individuals you're competing, but as you said, there's always that nice sort of element of trying to help each other as well. Yeah, Shane's been brilliant with me. He was one of the first ones to speak to me and have a chat with me when I came, and we've always had so much things to talk about. And he's brilliant. He's a bit of a mentor in a way where you can watch him and you can learn from him. And he's helped me settle in very well. And again, he's always talking to me. He's always helping me. And that's what you want. That's what you want from an experienced player. And that's what you need for me to settle in
that's just only going to get the best out of me.
And Johannes and Glenn as well, in terms of their sessions. I mean, of sort of your experience, how high a quality of those? How much have you learned from sort of the early spell working with those two guys, and Jack and Nick as well?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think I've absolutely loved every single session I've done. There hasn't been a session where I've come off. Not liking it. There's so much to do in the sessions. There's always options to do more, and they're always wanting to push you and improve you, and that's what you need. That's what you want as a player. Even not just them, the other staff. There's always people around to help you and work on those things that you want to work on, and it's great. And as I say, I've absolutely loved every single session so far.
What are the elements of your game that you're looking at and coming to Norwich that you're trying to refine and improve? Because I think from what we've seen of you look to be very comfortable on the ball. You look to be a centre back that enjoys to have the ball. So what are the elements that you're looking at and really wanting to sort of improve on?
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to probably narrow it down to some, because I guess like people think that, or as you say, the side with the ball is obviously a main factor why I came to the club. But again, it's somewhere that you don't just think that you have that in the locker and forget about it. It's something that I'll always keep working on, and there's different patterns, there's different styles here that you have to master. So it's a way of improving everything that I've already got, as well as trying to work on slight things that I want to get better at. But again, I have opportunities to do that every single day, and that's what I'm very, very grateful for, and hopefully it'll take me to the next level.
At Bristol City, obviously you came on. I think many fans were impressed with the impact that you made. I know it was only 8 minutes. You were unlucky with the shot that got blocked. I thought that was destined for the top corner when you hit it.
So did I.
But as an experience for you, to be dropped into Championship football, and again previously with the other game that you did as well, how have you sort of found the level? And it certainly looked like you were comfortable and felt comfortable and looked comfortable at Ashton Gate. Yeah,
I think the Bristol game especially, I was so excited to get on. I guess Borja scoring just before I came on helped calm the nerves a bit for me. And when I come on, I just felt like there was nothing to lose. I just sort of tried to go for it and tried to help the team in any way I could. As you could see, I was just trying to get the ball forward and get into the box. And if I could get on the end of something, then great. But no, I loved it. It was a nice real taste of what the football's like, and I just hope there's more opportunities to come.
What's the mood been like in the group? Because it's been a sort of quite a weird run, isn't it, where you've played quite well in games or bits of games and haven't necessarily been able to translate that into results. So I can imagine there probably is a frustration, but equally there's plenty of positive elements for you guys to take from the performances as well.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. We've been playing well. It's just simple things that we're getting wrong. It's annoying from our part, and obviously as fans as well to watch it. We're equally as annoyed at the things happening as they are, and we're trying every day to put things right. But I just say we don't turn a blind eye on the fact that we are playing well, and there's so many positives there to take from the games. And I think maybe the international break came at a good time for us. We've had a tough spell, and hopefully now coming back and being fresh, and we can hit the ground running again.
Yeah, just final few, but I mean, as particularly as a defender, because it feels like there's been a lot of focus on that in particular, and I know you haven't necessarily had sort of a frontline role at it, but what is sort of I don't know if you're particularly into stats, but what is sort of the use of data from a player's perspective? Because certainly if you look at it, it feels like you're probably conceding more than, conceding the chances that you do concede rather than conceding a lot of chances. So, I mean, what's that sort of like as a defender? How do you get to the bottom where there's such a big, I guess, gap between maybe how positive some of the defensive data is to maybe what the goals conceded column is showing?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's probably the annoying thing as well, that we're not giving up tons of chances, but we are conceding from them. So there obviously is something that we need to work on, and it's probably just something we'll do as a group, and it's not necessarily just defenders. It could start somewhere else, and we all take responsibility as a group for goals that we concede, and we all try to work on it together. And that's what's good about it. There's nothing that we don't point fingers or anything. It's all a good togetherness, and we take responsibility, and that's what we'll try and work on together.
And for final couple, I mean, for you personally, 8 games left this season. Do you see this as an opportunity to try and force your way in, to try and build on obviously that performance at Bristol City? I'm sure that's the aim for you, isn't it? Now to try and sort of increase some of those minutes that you're getting on the pitch from here.
Yeah, everyone wants to play, but I know I knew what the plan for me was coming here, and I know that every day I'm gonna try. I'll always try and put myself into the manager's thoughts, and at the end of the day, it's up to him. He picks a team on what he thinks is right for certain games, and if I'm in it, I'm in it. If I'm not again. I'll be ready to hopefully try and make an impact again, like I did at Bristol.
Yeah, and that was going to be my final question, really. I mean, you kind of spoken around the plan for yourself. What does it look like sort of beyond this season? Because I know Brad Hills, you may or may not have met, I don't know, but there are other centre-backs as well, Shane, in that conversation as well. It looks like it's shaping up to be a really competitive summer in that position, so that must be something you're really relishing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want. It's healthy competition, and yeah, I'm not sitting here thinking, because I'm not playing now, I'm definitely going to play next year. It's in no way is that going through my head. It's like I know that come pre-season you just have to work even harder to get in the team and hopefully do enough to get starting. And again, if not, it just shows that you need to be working harder and doing things better. But yeah, hopefully I can keep my head down and get some minutes come the end of the season. That'll only benefit me coming into the pre-season.